So then we are back with more understandings from the time of the Second Tabernacle services, where we find in the Aramaic English translation of the word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Israelic lineage. So then we can understand the time of the end. As per Yeshayahu the prophet, known as Isaiah, we find layers of understanding of the spring feast, the autumn feast, and also the returning of the cities of the Messiah laid waste for many centuries. As we study then the actual events of the day, we find then the nation of the Soviet Union, as it was before, becoming itself once again great. And there are lots of speculation regarding then Ukraine and Kiev. Back in the times of the Soviet Union, it was a great power of a military industry, and this power is returning. There are lots of talks going on around the world, and then the condemnation of the president of the Soviet Union of sending the army in Ukraine, and then they have concerns regarding the situation. Let's then understand as far as the holy instructions then are concerned. We read Daniel very precisely on the 11th chapter. Then the kingdom of the north then shall be great, and then coming with much equipment. Let's try understand then, prior of this time, the ending of the 1,000 years of deceit. Let's understand what this means. And also the 1,000 years of the Messiah. Try picture yourself a very big structure. For instance, a diagram block or block diagram. If you work for a company or a set of companies or stores, you always find some sort of block diagram. Then, as the 1,000 years of the Messiah had ended, imagine the world as if the directives of a normal living and lifestyle then was ending. So then, give you another analogy of the situation. For instance, a roadmap. You know so much around your area, how to drive and the roads, and then as you surely know your way then from your home and then work and back, you do know for sure the route. Sometimes you take other routes, but you know precisely where to go, either south, west, east, north. So try to understand the instructions as the ending of the 1,000 years of the Messiah, as if the world was ending, except the autumn feast itself. So whatsoever we have the instructions, you find yourself completing it except the autumn feast. You have to have the entire understanding completed up to the point when then the 1,000 years of the Messiah and the holy cities then ended. From then on was then 1,000 years of deceit until 2009, and then from then on we are during the time of the restoration period. So imagine yourself as a reflective portion of the ending of the 1,000 years, and then we are preparing ourselves as it was at the ending of the 1,000 years of the Messiah. But then we include autumn feast at the very end. So then you have the kingdom of the north, kingdom of the south, and kingdom of the east. precisely as it was then at the end of the 1,000 years of the Messiah. You had the kingdom of the north, kingdom of the east, and kingdom of the south. Precisely the understandings they were reflected during those times from the prophets, then they are reflected during our time, including autumn feast coming yet. So then, the kingdom of the north at the moment is the Soviet Union. We read Daniel the 11th chapter is precisely the time related with the restoration period, where the kingdom of the north is the most powerful military force of this world. It is normal at this time then the control of those places via the military. Some nations, they are having some concerns against it, but they are not part of the big kingdoms. The Soviet Union will control the area, and they will provide the military equipment of the finest quality for a very reasonable price. Nations yet will purchase those items, military items, from them very gladly. So we are at the point of no return. Nations can come against them as much as they want. The situation won't move an inch. So then, based from this, you find then great changes coming as it was then, given the information some time ago related the BRICS visit in Brazil that was postponed from March to July. The very same time then the submarine cable uniting Brazil with Portugal then will start then the work in July. It's already given you some information regarding then the time of the end and the system of the end. This petition was done by China. China is yet the most powerful trade country in the world, and then the other countries simply obviously decided to postpone from March to July. Gladly then we are evaluating the instructions very precisely, because the 11th chapter of Daniel is truly very compacted, not as much compacted as Yeshayahu, but yet it is, because he fasted for more than 20 days and he received understandings on the 10th and 11th and 12th. This truly places us in a condition of either we understand the instructions and we do then what it says, or we don't. Either we are rebels, or we understand then very gently making the proper adjustments as far as respecting those kingdoms. Rather than words of condemnation, they should have words of wisdom. You don't come against the northern kingdom, but you provide them with help from abroad without sticking your nose in somebody else's work. And you do understand what that means. These might be a bit short and rough, but either we understand the instructions or we don't. So then, at the moment, the military is simply securing the area. They are not firing at people for no reason. They are securing the area. Plain and simple. If they were firing at people, soldiers, and then civilians, it would be another situation. Yet there are nations sticking their noses where they shouldn't. Let them do their work. If Ukraine wants help, they will ask for it. Some sort of a financial aid or health aid or some other kinds of aid. But nations should not interfere with their decisions, because we are dealing then with the Northern Kingdom. There are other topics related with these kingdoms, including Africa and China. China obviously is the leader of these kingdoms, and gladly this year there is a visit of China and Congo, and this visit is extremely important. During the time of the year 09, we went from 1,000 years of deceit back, as it was then during the time of the Messiah, and the restoration period is taking place. Yet during 09, many people went through oblivious. Yet the machine always works. So then, there is another topic very important, and the relationship also of people is very important. As far as understanding the family situation and then friends, and then if you believe then the holy instructions, then you obviously did read many areas of Shaliach Shaul in his teachings then regarding relationships. I'm going to tackle these areas later very precisely, very profoundly, so then we can establish a normality of this topic. At the moment, we should be concerned with the structure of these instructions, as there is absolutely no news as far as the instructions are concerned. A person can't come up with another new idea, or impose another idea, or discovering another situation. It's non-existent. Whatsoever was taking place before is simply repeating itself, and at this time then coming in a very near future the autumn feast. So please stay tuned, much more coming up.